Hey guys, my name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton Sehon. I wanted to hop in and just talk to you a little bit about partnership because there is a little bit of science behind the whole thing. I wanted to just explain the importance of picking and choosing who your partner is, dating even, being very conscious with who you work with, who you hang out with, who your friends are, especially your partnership. On a neuroscience level, scientifically, when you partner with someone who has anxiety, whether that's a friend, a coworker, what have you, you know that you start acting like the 5 people that you hang out with the most. And scientifically, how that's proven is, hey Crystal, hey guys, we actually sweat, and when we sweat cortisol, and it is felt and picked up by other people, as well as pheromones. So if you have a situation where you're dealing with someone who has a lot of anxiety and or kind of a high-strung person, like my dog over here, stop, that can literally come through in your pores and be picked up and spread like a terrible virus. It's really important who you hire, who you work with, who you hang out with, who you partner with. On another level, I wanted to explain sex. Let's talk about it. Sex, when a man and a woman come together to do the thing, there are chemicals that are released, and one of them is oxytocin. Oxytocin is a bonding chemical, type of chemistry hormone that is, usually let out, released during sex. It can also be a lot of other different things that cause that oxytocin to come out. I mean, it can be as innocent as hanging out with your animals, not in a sexual way, obviously, but just eye-to-eye contact with animals, bonding with your baby when your baby's born, breastfeeding. There's a lot of different ways that oxytocin can be released. But in sex, when oxytocin is released by the man, what happens is the testosterone sort of literally cancels it out. And like with a female, we don't usually have a lot of testosterone to do that. We have enough, but not enough to really cancel it out. So what I'm saying is, if you are one of the people in life who just go around kind of sleeping with other people, kind of unconsciously, a woman can actually be very bonded to a man chemically and think that they're in love when actually they're just having a hormone response where the man won't bond in that way. So it's, if the man isn't already physically in love, mentally, emotionally, spiritually attached to the woman that he is sleeping with, then there will not be a bond. So casual sex isn't really a conscious, I guess it can be a conscious choice, but it may not be your highest. Not to mention all of the electric bonds, the pheromone. I mean, there's all these things with cords electronically that may need to be cut if they're not your highest. And not to mention that a woman who dies, you can actually find every partner that they've ever slept with in their brain if they do an autopsy, as well as every child they've ever conceived and or created, whether it was born or not. So there are so many things and so much science based on sexual relationships, partnerships, on a neuroscience level, on a chemistry level. Another thing that's really interesting is for 2 years, during the first 2 years that you are in love, your brain will actually create all of this oxytocin and other bonding chemicals that make you feel like you are in love, just like the oxytocin stuff. But after that 2 years, it like cuts off. Kind of a trick, a little bit. So some ways that you can actually create your own bonding, doing something new with your partner, going out and seeing a site that you've never seen before, or go visiting like a movie, or date night, or go trying a new food, or jumping out of an airplane, adrenaline, things like that. Like, that's why things like shows like The Bachelor and what have you, if you watch those things, which maybe I do, maybe I'm just talking about my friends who do that, if you notice towards the end they're all confused, and they're like, oh my God, how can I possibly be in love with 14 people at once? Well, maybe because you slept with all of them, and you jumped out of planes and did hot air balloons and did all the things that actually physically create those bonds, that now you are confused. Cancel clear, not you, but whoever's doing that can actually be extremely confused and think that they're in love with all of those people. And it could be very difficult to actually make a rational, conscious choice on what is the real situation in that, because there's so many chemicals and pheromones that are interchanged during those things. So